The 3 days of darkness, I have seen them. Well, first of all, a disclaimer, okay, my name is Andreas, I'm in Austria, and I will say this, I'm actually a skeptic myself, when somebody has got all these apparitions and 3 weekly messages from beyond, I take that with a grain of salt. But sometimes, under extraordinary circumstances, ordinary people like me can have a little glimpse of beyond as well. Especially if, I'm a Catholic convert, I go to church every day for the last 12 years, I pray my rosaries, and some members of my groups on Facebook have asked me to tell them what I've seen, because I mention it shortly. So here's the situation. 3 years ago, suddenly I had to be rushed to hospital. A life-saving operation, okay? And in this after I wake up from this life-saving operation, with tubes hanging out everywhere of me, I had this strange experience. I was cast into this post-apocalyptic world, and I saw devastation beyond belief. Imagine a city, it's flattened, there is not a building standing anymore, right? Like a war was raging there. We sometimes get to see these pictures on television or on YouTube, and over and above this there is ashes like 1 meter, 2 meters high, covering everything, so there's devastation of the building standing. There's the silhouette of some high-rise units, but they were gone. There were just some metal beams sticking out, and there were makeshift camps of kind of army personnel were still running around with gas masks, and they were all running in the wrong direction. For some reason I knew this way was the wrong way. You had to go this way to come to safety. So I go this way and say, no, don't run that way. That is your certain doom. But they kept running that way anyway. They wouldn't listen to me. So here, whenever I closed my eyes, I could see that, right? And I opened my eyes, I wasn't hallucinating or I wasn't in coma. I could give rational answers, the hospital staff would come and the doctors would come and visit and ask me questions, and I could rationally answer these questions, and there was breakfast, lunch and dinner served, and the blood pressure, they came to measure that, and I could talk to the neighbor to the left and I could talk to the neighbor to the right, and as soon as I closed my eyes I would be right there. And most people in this world that I was cast into, they were actually dead. It was like a volcano exploded after a terrible war happened. And was it a volcano? I don't know, because I don't know what happened before all this. I didn't see the war, I didn't see a volcano eruption. I was just in this dystopian world where there was devastation beyond belief, and most of the dead bodies were covered by meters of ashes, right? And I had rational thoughts. I mean, here I heard something about the 3 days of darkness, and you should sit at home and you light your beeswax candles and you pray the rosary and you be in front of your home altar. But there were no homes, there were no buildings left standing, there were no blessed candles. I was out there and I was wearing one of these in my vision. I had one of these gas masks as well, and there was a pestilence. I knew there there was poisonous fumes in the air. The sky was dark, like a bit of reddish shimmering, so you could see a little bit, but it was dark, right? And I walked and walked and walked, and I saw terrible things, like a hand sticking out through the ashes, and there was a mother just still cuddling the child, but half covered by ashes. And I knew that there were thousands, tens of thousands dead underneath these ashes. And I kept walking and walking and walking, and I had always these interruptions, you're in hospital, and every half an hour something happens, and you open your eyes, and there you have to give answers again. I could do that. I was not out of it. I was giving rational answers, and I had rational thoughts even when I closed my eyes, and the vision started again, exactly where I left off, like you're watching a video and you press the pause button. It was like in being in a 3D first player game, if you want. You're the main actor. You move in there with these goggles on, and you see yourself and people around, and you could look left, right, up and down, and you're fully aware of details. And I asked the question, if there's so many dead people, why isn't there any smell, right? I couldn't smell the putrid of decaying bodies. They were covered by ashes, but some of them only half covered, but there were no insects as well. There were no worms. So I said, okay, there is no smell. Strange, but there should be smell, because if these people have been lying there for a couple of days, surely it would be not so nice, the smell, right? So I kept walking and walking and walking, and the longer the vision lasted, it lasted for exactly 3 days. I mean, not while I was asleep, only in a wake state. When I was asleep, then nothing. When I had my eyes open, nothing. I closed my eyes like this, and it would start up again. 3 days long. And I walked and I walked and I walked, and on the second day, I didn't see any people. Those running in the wrong directions, they were gone. I didn't see any more people, right? And I was looking out for landmarks. Where am I? I mean, I'm in Austria, and surely I wouldn't suddenly be catapulted to Afghanistan or America. So I presume I was in Europe. I was looking around. Is there any churches? Is there the Eiffel Tower of Paris? Is there landmark church in Vienna? Nothing. All gone. And then I thought, I'm sure there is some people still alive in atomic bunkers underneath me, but they're covered by ashes. And then a light rain in the third day, a light rain set in, and you know what happens with ashes? If a rain sets in, it sort of turns into concrete. And I said, oh my goodness, all these people in their atomic bunkers, they have got a concrete layer over it, and they are being trapped in their grave down there. So I'm walking and walking, and slowly in the third day, far on the horizon, I could see the reddish kind of sunrise, and the air cleared up a bit, and as I walked on and on and on, the ashes subsided, and green growth is coming out again, like ferns, like in the first day of the creation of the world. Looks something like that, and suddenly a bubbling brook there, and I could even see a few creatures, a few animals, still no human beings, but I knew these human beings were around. And here is where the vision actually ended. Now, ever since then, I have watched probably every possible end of the world movie there is out to watch, and they got it all wrong. I mean, here, is it a volcanic eruption or an earthquake or a tidal wave? Millions of people obviously die. Nobody ever converts, right? Nobody converts. There's no lesson to be learned in all this. And some scientist and his nerdy son saved the world, and things are back to normal. So it was actually waste. But you have to imagine what I've seen is a combination of various disasters. So war, and I'm still not sure what it was. Was it, when if a comet falls down fire from the sky, could be a volcanic eruption? Well, there would be lots of ashes. So here I've got Anna Marie Taiji, and she describes, first of all, she describes the warning: a great purification will come upon the world, preceded by an illumination of conscience, and everybody will see himself as God sees him. But she also talks about the judgment. God will send two punishments, one in form of wars, revolutions, and other evils. It will originate on earth, and the other will come from heaven. A deep darkness will come over the whole world, lasting for 3 days. And this is actually then the prediction, or what I should rather say, the prophecy, that I actually come across after I had this vision, which kind of confirms what I have seen, because there were a combination of various factors. And God will send the punishments, and nothing will be visible, and the air will be full of pestilence. Well, that was that happened, which will kill all, but not only the enemies of religion, right? During the darkness, it will be impossible to use artificial light except for consecrated candles. Well, I didn't have the luxury of having consecrated candles because there was no home, no room standing. Whoever out of curiosity opens the windows and looks out or leaves his house will drop dead because of the pestilence, and during these 3 days people should stay in their home, pray the rosary, and ask God for mercy. Well, I prayed as I walked through the ashes, and that's where my vision has stopped. After 3 days, suddenly, boom, flash, gone. And I just was sitting on this information for 3 years, and I thought I might share it once without claiming that I'm a wonderful seer or anything. It happened to me once, and that's it. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you later. Oh, after, I have to show you something, because after this was over, I actually went and got myself the mask. You never know, you know. Oops. My wife is here.